MTN SME Hub. Link to growth. Link to success. Link to the ultimate resource for business advice and insights.
Welcome back to the Big Small Business Show. We have Judy Klipin in the house. She's been talking to us about burnout. What a wonderful 2 weeks of discussion around burnout. Terrible subject, but I think it's one of those things that you have to talk about, like when you have to talk about your children about, the bees and the birds and the bees, Now we have to talk to entrepreneurs about burnout. I want to tell you a story about somebody in my family. No, it's not me, I promise you, who built a business, worked very, very hard. In their late 40s, sold the business, and made some money, but spent the next 2 to 3 years trying to be healthier again because they were so burnt out. It was so physical that their cortisol levels were so high that it actually did damage to them, like physical damage to them. So it's not just I felt a little tired and now I sold my business, everything's good. There was permanent, or it felt like permanent damage to this person. So if you've got any insight into that. And I know you're not a doctor, so you can't give.
I was about to say I'm not a doctor, but I do have insight. First of all, I've had clients who also have been so burnt out that one literally had to be taken away from work because they had such a huge panic attack at work and were just completely incapable of even thinking straight. Others who have literally not been able to do anything for months, but just kind of get out of bed and go and lie on the couch and look at the sky. So it is something that we really do need to take seriously. And unfortunately, again, not like chickenpox that we wake up with it one morning. Chickenpox also is lovely because you only get it once. Sadly, with burnout, it's not something that you get over and never have to deal with again. First of all, it can have, depending on its severity, a very lasting impact, like your family member. And secondly, it's like we've got a scar. So every time we get to the point where we are stretching ourselves too far, we can reactivate that burnout. So we really do need to take it very seriously. But back to your family member who, I hope that they're feeling better now, but oh, good. It really does take a very long time.
Yeah, it took 5 years.
Yeah, that absolutely doesn't surprise me at all. It really doesn't surprise me. And the terrible thing is, not that I've ever met your family member, but I'm prepared to bet that they don't have as much mental or emotional stamina or physical stamina as they used to, that they won't be able to expect as much of themselves ever again. I have clients who say to me, but I'm over my burnout. Why am I not being able to concentrate so much? Because that cortisol has fried something in your brain. I'm sorry, and for my non-medical terminology, but it's never going to be the same again. You are never going to be able to concentrate for as long or as well as you used to before you got burnout. You're never going to be able to work such long hours. Before I had burnout for the first or second or even third time, I used to pull all-nighters all the time. And I was fine. I would have maybe 2 hours of sleep in every couple of days and I'd be completely fine. Those days are so over. It is not even an option for me anymore because my body does not have the resilience because I've pushed it too far when I had the burnout. So we really do have to take it really, really seriously, not to mention that there is a clear correlation between advancing burnout and heart disease, diabetes, depression, hypertension. It's not something that is imagined. It is a proper disease.
So we've spent 2 weeks together, 2 shows together, and we've got a few minutes left. Even if we borrow from all the different segments, tips now for 10 tips, 5 tips, 7 tips, whatever, how many number of tips you want on what an entrepreneur needs to do who's starting to get the signals.
Okay. So first of all, be very mindful about how you are spending your energy. So do that energy budget. See where you are spending energy, making energy, restoring your energy, and make sure that you are coming out every day at least neutral and not in deficit. You need to rest as much as possible, whether that's sleeping or resting. You need to try and ask for help. So you need to identify where you need help and to ask for it. And you need to be very honest with yourself about what you can say no to. Really, you need to, if your friends are nagging you to do something, but you just don't have the time or the energy, you need to say, I can't do it this week. Maybe we can do it next week. You need to get exercise every day. I've got a little acronym. It's called a SPANNER. And if you do it every day.
Let's go through it.
So the S is for self.
Right.
So every day, check in with yourself. What am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? What do I need? What do I need to give myself? The P is for peace. So to give yourself some peace and quiet, that 5 or 20 minutes every day where you are just being with yourself in a quiet space, no noise, no TV, no nothing. The A is for asking for and accepting help, because often people offer us help and we say, no, thanks, I don't need your help. And so we really need to accept help that is offered and bear in mind that this is one of my platitudes, letting people help you is letting people love you. It's very, it's not nice when people are offering you help to push it away because they felt pushed away. They feel pushed away as well. The first N is for no. So what can you say no to? And it doesn't have to be a hard no. It can be, I can't do it this week. Can we do it next week? It can be a no to staying up until 12 o'clock at night. They're just saying no to something so that you can say yes to yourself in the moment. The second N is for nourishment. So you need to make sure that you are eating nourishing food, doing things that nourish you. So often when we're so focused on our work, we forget about the other things that nourish us outside of work, friends, hobbies, sport, whatever. E is for exercise. So gentle exercise, preferably outside in the fresh air so that you're eating better, etc. And the R is for responsibly using your energy, so being mindful about how you're using your energy, but it's also about relationships, because I think one of the worst things about burnout is how withdrawn we become and how lonely we start to feel, and how lonely the people around us start to feel because we're so kind of in our own heads. And so it's to really try and reconnect with key relationships, with even if it's just sending a WhatsApp saying, hi, I'm thinking of you. It doesn't matter. But if you do that every day, and you can do it all in one go, I do it every morning. I take my dogs for a walk. I'm exercising. I'm connecting with myself. I'm figuring out where I can ask for help. I'm figuring out what to say no to. I'm planning the meals for the day, and I'm thinking about how I'm going to be spending my energy and who I want to connect with. So you can do it all in the space of 20 minutes.
Judy, thanks so much for all your insights. It's actually, and what I picked up, you didn't just write about it, you've experienced it yourself, and a big thank you to you for all the insights, and I hope you've enjoyed the last 2 weeks as much as I have. And remember, if you think it, write it down, but take 20 minutes and make it a reality.
The Big Small Business Show, proudly sponsored by MTN Business.